What if I told you that for nearly 2,000 years, Christians have repeated a phrase in their creeds, sung it in their hymns, and proclaimed it from their pulpits, but few have stopped to ask what it truly means? What if I told you that at the heart of this phrase lies a mystery so disturbing, so controversial, that even theologians have argued about it for centuries? The phrase is this: He descended into hell. But the question is, did Jesus really go to hell after his death? Stay with me, because the truth behind this mystery is stranger and more shocking than you've ever imagined. The answer could change the way you see Jesus, salvation, and even eternity itself. Let's begin at the moment of his death. The Gospels tell us that Jesus cried out with a loud voice, breathed his last, and the veil of the temple was torn in two. Darkness covered the land, the earth shook, the Son of God was dead. But what happened to him next? His body was laid in a tomb, yes, but where did his spirit go? Did he truly descend into the realm of the dead? To answer this, we have to explore one of the oldest and most mysterious Christian beliefs, preserved in what is known as the Apostles' Creed. For centuries, Christians have confessed the words, "He suffered under Pontius Pilate, was crucified, dead and buried. He descended into hell. On the third day he rose again from the dead." But the phrase, "he descended into hell," has always carried a heavy weight of mystery. Some translations call it hell, others call it Hades, or the realm of the dead. In Hebrew thought, it was Sheol, the shadowy place of departed souls. In Greek, it was Hades, the underworld. The question is, did Jesus actually go there? And if so, why? The first clue comes from the letter of Peter in the New Testament. In 1 Peter 3:19, we read something strange. After being made alive, he went and made proclamation to the imprisoned spirits. Imprisoned spirits? Who are they? What does it mean that Jesus preached to them? This verse has baffled scholars for centuries. Some say he was proclaiming victory to fallen angels. Others say he was offering salvation to souls who had died before his crucifixion. Either way, it suggests that Jesus' spirit entered a realm beyond this world, a realm of darkness and mystery. Another passage in Ephesians 4:9 states, "What does he ascended mean, except that he also descended to the lower, earthly regions?" This again points to a descent, not just into death, but into the place of the dead. The question is not if he went, but what he did when he got there. Early Christians believed that Jesus descended to what was called the Harrowing of hell. Imagine this scene: the gates of the underworld trembling, the realm of the dead thrown into chaos as the Son of God appears in radiant glory. Souls long trapped in darkness suddenly see the light. The righteous dead, from Adam and Eve to Abraham, Moses, David, and the prophets, waiting in hope, now behold the Messiah who has come to set them free. Ancient hymns and writings describe Jesus breaking open the gates of hell, shattering the chains of death and leading the captives into freedom. It is a vision so powerful that artists have painted it for centuries, Christ standing triumphant, pulling souls from the jaws of death. But here's the shocking part. Not everyone agreed on what happened. Some church fathers argued that Jesus' descent was not for salvation, but for proclamation, a declaration of his victory over sin, death, and Satan. In this view, he wasn't there to rescue, but to announce, the war is over, death is defeated, hell has no more power. Others, however, believed he truly freed the righteous dead, emptying the waiting place of Sheol and leading them to paradise. And then there's an even more radical interpretation. Some ancient writings outside the Bible suggest that Jesus' descent was not just to free the righteous, but to confront the forces of darkness directly. Imagine the Son of God walking into the very throne room of the enemy, stripping the devil of his power, humiliating the rulers and authorities of the underworld, and taking back the keys of death and hell. Revelation 1:18 records Jesus saying, "I hold the keys of death and Hades." How did he get them? By storming the gates of the underworld itself. But the question lingers, did Jesus truly go to hell as we think of it, the fiery place of torment, or was it a different realm entirely? The word hell can be misleading. When the Creed says he descended into hell, it doesn't mean the lake of fire described in Revelation. It means Hades, or Sheol, the place of the dead, a shadowy realm where souls waited. In Jewish thought, this realm had two sides, a place of rest for the righteous, sometimes called Abraham's bosom, and a place of torment for the wicked. Jesus himself described this division in his parable of the rich man and Lazarus. So when he descended, he did not enter eternal damnation, but the realm of the dead, to proclaim victory, to rescue the righteous, and to declare judgment over evil. Think about this. For 3 days, the body of Jesus lay silent in the tomb, but his spirit was anything but inactive. While the world mourned, he was waging war in the unseen realms. He was shaking the foundations of death itself. He was fulfilling the prophecy of Psalm 68. "You ascended on high, leading a host of captives in your train and receiving gifts among men." Now imagine the terror of the underworld as Christ arrived. The gates that had held souls for millennia could not withstand him. Chains shattered, darkness trembled, the devil's dominion collapsed. And from the depths of Sheol, a new sound rose. The sound of freedom, the sound of victory, the sound of salvation. This is why the doctrine of the descent matters. Without it, the story of Jesus' death and resurrection is incomplete. He didn't just die for sin and rise again. He entered the very realm of death, conquered it from the inside, and emerged victorious. He didn't avoid hell, he invaded it. He didn't fear death, he destroyed it. But here is where it gets controversial. Some theologians reject this teaching altogether. They say the phrase, "he descended into hell," was a later addition to the Creed, misunderstood and mistranslated. They argue that Jesus simply experienced death fully, nothing more. Others insist it is essential to the gospel. Without the descent, the victory is partial, the story unfinished. So which is it? Did Jesus really go to hell after death? The truth may be deeper than we can fully grasp, but what we do know is this. Scripture affirms that he descended, that he proclaimed victory, that he holds the keys of death and Hades, and that because of him, death itself has lost its sting. And here is why this matters to you. If Jesus truly descended into the realm of the dead, then there is no place he cannot go to rescue, redeem, and reclaim. There is no darkness too deep, no bondage too strong, no despair too final. If he entered hell itself and triumphed, then he can enter the darkest places of your life and bring light. He can descend into your pain, your fear, your shame, your brokenness, and lead you out into freedom. This is not just theology. This is hope. Hope that death is not the end. Hope that hell does not win. Hope that no matter how far you feel from God, he is willing to descend into the depths to find you. The question then is not just whether Jesus went to hell. The question is, will you let him rescue you from your own? This is the power of the descent. This is the victory of Christ. And this is why, even today, the ancient words still echo. He suffered, died, was buried, and descended into hell. On the third day, he rose again. Subscribe now to Hidden Truths of the Bible, because the next revelation might be the one that finally changes everything you thought you knew about faith, eternity, and the mysteries of God.